Okay, you beautiful people, welcome to this video. So today we're going to talk about out-of-body experiences, a thing that really led me to just spend a lifetime exploring who I am and how this place operates and how the law of attraction works, how consciousness works. And it all started from my out-of-body experience when I was 3. So let's have a chat about that. We're going to also have a talk about the psychic inner senses and give you a little exercise so that you can begin to really enhance your psychic experiences and maybe lead to an out-of-body experience. So let's get into that now. Okay, so what happened? So I found myself, it was a winter's evening. I remember it was very dark. Winter's evening, I hadn't been asleep that long. And I found myself kind of floating above my body. So it was I was 3 years old, and I found myself not exactly against the ceiling, but actually kind of just below it, looking down at my bed with the duvet, and my body was breathing, and I could see the sheets moving and that type of thing. But I was also aware that I was still me. I was also aware that I still had the thoughts of who I am, but my thoughts were rather expanded. So I remember they weren't kind of childlike thoughts, if you like. They seemed more than, that's the only way I can describe it. So I was around on the ceiling, just looking at the body. I was very relaxed. I didn't feel stressed in any way, shape or form. And that was my initial introduction to the idea that I'm not my physical body, that my consciousness is not wholly connected to my physical body. So that was the first example. Now, after that, very shortly after that, I think what happened is my inner senses kind of got enhanced, if you like, and I had lots of spiritual experiences in waking life. So I remember again being in my room later in the evening, and I felt my awareness expand. So the only way I can think of it is that imagine that your awareness of your body, instead of being here, goes out and up. And so I was really consciously aware that my awareness was larger than the house that I was in. It also extended well outside the room, and that actually my awareness wasn't connected to my body in the same way. I wasn't out of body, it wasn't an out of body experience, but it's kind of like my inner senses or my psychic senses were expanding, kind of, expressing themselves out, and my awareness kind of followed them. So my awareness was really expanded. It's much greater in terms of space than the room, and that was the second experience. And that particular experience happened a lot during my whole childhood, and then my final out-of-body experience when I was a child, actually when we moved house. And again, I found myself out of my body, and of course I had lots of these experiences so far, so again I was just thinking I'm just going to enjoy this. So I was out of my body. I was actually in the ground stairs, the downstairs flat of where we used to live. So I had my own flat down there. And I was probably 16 at the time when the last out-of-body experience of my teenage years happened. I remember that I was again floating on the ceiling, and I was also able to manipulate matter if I focused on it. So it was a really strange thing. So the door to my bedroom was shut, but I was able to manipulate it in a strange way, and I can't really tell you exactly, but the other doors were open. I went into the kitchen because this flat was next to the kitchen of the house where I was in, and then also the front room. I remember moving up and down the front room at different heights and really enjoying myself, and kind of flying, but it didn't feel like flying. It's a really different kind of experience, different to dream experiences when one is flying. So it's not like flying with the wind against you or whatever it was. It was really that I had different senses operating, and because I had those different senses operating, the sensations were very different as well. It was very much a mental exercise. I remember just thinking, if I think move, then I'm going to move. And I did. And it was very easy. It was very, very relaxed. I remember then at a certain point feeling as though I wanted to go back to my body. And again, I went back through the front room, it was around a corner into the little kitchen, and just, I remember kind of sliding round the corner. It was a very, very pleasurable experience. And then kind of coming back above my body again. And I do remember looking outside, and there was a crack in the curtains, and my bed was kind of next to the window, which was up here. And I do remember seeing that there was snow outside. Again, it was during winter. But again, the experience of looking out was slightly different. It was, yeah, a very different experience. So throughout those experiences and many others as an adult, you know, doing healing for 10 years and teaching and exploring all this kind of stuff, then those experiences really have caused the foundation of everything I've done. That one particular experience when I was 3, when I came out of my body, it was automatically recognized somewhere within me that I was immortal, that in fact I wasn't going to be wholly connected to my body ever, and that actually when my body was stopping functioning, then I would still exist. And that is something that stayed with me forever. I've never quite recovered, if you like, from that experience, and that's really driven me. So I just want to talk about the inner senses a little bit more, but it's a beautiful day out there. So what I've decided to do is to just pack this up here. We're going to walk up the road. It's a beautiful view. You'll see when you get there, and I'll talk about the inner senses and a little exercise that I've been teaching people for 25 years or so that really seems effective. So hang on for a second. Let's walk up the road and I'll talk to you in a second. Okay, here we are. Let's take these off. Beautiful, really sunny day. So what these inner senses and why they're important. So the most important thing to realize is that this isn't a physical place. That's the first thing. And the way to experience it, if you're a scientist as non-physical, it's get a microscope and kind of look into it, isn't it? It's to kind of look at the atoms and the molecules. And quantum physics has shown us time and time again, there's mostly space here. There's not really anything solid in any way, shape or form. But when you're in a physical body, it's really quite difficult to have that experience. So quantum physicists exploring all these things would say, hey, you know, there are multiple realities, that matter cannot be destroyed. So therefore, you know, if we're energy and energy can't be destroyed, then we can't be destroyed, then we're immortal. All those arguments come when you can experience this place as a non-physical state of consciousness. So the best way to do that is to have a think about your senses. So the reason that this place looks so solid is because you've got 5 senses. Yeah, it makes this place look beautiful. I mean, look at that, absolutely lovely. So it makes this place our experience of it as physical, solid, touch, taste, all those types of things. But in order to experience what's behind physical reality, then you've got to use your inner senses. So I want you to have a think about and recognize that you have got inner, call them psychic, call them energetic senses. So you've got inner sight, inner sound, inner touch, all those things. And when you come out of your physical body, they're the ones that you're using. They're the ones that are creating your experience. Right now, your 5 senses are creating this experience. Like the only reason I think I'm on a hillside or down in a hillside here, and that there's all this beautiful space and trees and colors and that, it's because my 5 senses are telling me it's true. When I'm out of my body and when I'm in a different state of consciousness, I could experience the same reality, but I'd experience it in a very different way. So reality, how you experience it, whether you call it physical or spiritual, is dependent upon your senses. And so all you need to do, a few tips, is when you go to sleep, ask yourself to begin to unlock those inner senses, to begin to kind of awaken those inner senses and then see what happens. Do that for a couple of weeks. What you want to do then is have a think about, okay, how can I experience this reality slightly differently? Sit in, not meditation, you don't have to sit with your legs crossed or anything, but just sit, relax, and ask yourself to give yourself that experience. And again, imagine that your inner senses are being turned up and that your outer senses, the ones that create this place, are being turned down. Okay, so kind of nice hypnotic technique there. So just imagine that your inner senses are being turned up nice and bright and your outer senses are being turned down. Again, do that consistently and you'll begin to have some very different experiences of this place. And the upshot of that, of course, is you'll realize that, you know, this isn't a physical place in the way we think of it. That will really challenge your ideas about what is physical and what is spiritual and how that's affect. We know that our beliefs our desires and expectations, our energy doesn't end kind of here, it goes out into reality. And that's where the idea of the law of attraction comes from. So lots of information to explore, but just try that. And my own experience really, I still have to do all these things. I still have to earn money. I have children, I have a body and all that kind of stuff, but I am vastly aware that this is a non-physical place. And the beauty of being aware of that, having those out-of-body experiences, is I'm also aware that I'm immortal, that my consciousness is not limited just to what people see is going on in my head. It's actually can be separated, and I exist outside of my body. And so when I die and my body then stops working, I will still exist, and that obviously changes your life as well. So that's why I'm driven. That's why I'm interested in all this kind of stuff. It's not because I came across it kind of by accident. It started from a very young age, and I kind of almost feel as though I don't really have a choice. As you might feel, you might not have a choice to do this. I don't have a choice. Every day is affected, every moment is affected by this experience that I had as a young child and all of the experiences after that. So that's it. So if you like this video and you want more information about how you can learn to create your own reality, how it works, the nature of time, all those types of things, then click the subscribe and hit the bell, and any comments, I'll have a look at them below. That's it. Take care. All the best. Just enjoy that scene for a second, and then we'll call it a day. That's it. All the best. Take care.